Today we'll be going over Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 14, verse number 11. But before we get started with Srimad Bhagavatam, I would like to invoke the auspiciousness from previous acharyas by chanting Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Swapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupa Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Also, I'll chant the invocation verses for Srimad Bhagavatam. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके oh god, I'm blanking out. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके. Prabhuji, help me.
मैं भक्ति भवती नैष्टिकी
फिर भवती नष्टके. Oh my god, after so many years I'm again. कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. Krishna. All right, so today we'll be going over 1.14.11. So I'll share my screen. Is it visible, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So I'll chant it 3 times and then devotees can take turns in reciting it. Urvakshi bahavo mahyam surantanga purah punah vepatushchapi hridaye aradasyanti vipriyam. Urvakshi bahavo mahyam surantanga punah punah vepatushchapi hridaye aradasyanti vipriyam. Urvakshi bahavo mahyam surantanga punah punah Vepatushchapi hridaye aradasyanti vipriyam. Would anybody like to chant?
Yes, Mataji. Urvakshi bahavo mayyam spuratyanga punah punah वेपतुश्च वेपतुश्चापि हृदये आराध्यास्यन्ति विप्रियम्। Thank you,
Thank you,
Mataji.
Guruji.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी।
Okay.
ऊर्व अक्षि बाहवो मह्यं स्फुरन्ति अंग पुनः पुनः वेप वेपतुश्चापि हृदये आराधास्यन्ति विप्रियम्।
Thank you, Guruji. Okay, I'll move on to synonyms. Uru, thighs, Akshi, eyes, Bahavaha, the arms, Mahyam, in my, Sphuranti, quivering, Anga, left side of the body, Punha Punha, again and again, Vepathu, palpitations, Cha, also, Api, certainly, Hridaye, in the heart, Arat, due to fear, Dasyanti, indicating, Vipriyam, undesirables. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The left side of my body, my thighs, arms, and eyes are all quivering again and again. I am having heart palpitations due to fear. All this indicates undesirable happenings. Okay, go to the purport. Okay, purport by Srila Prabhupada. Material existence is full of undesirables. Things we do not want are forced upon us by some superior energy. And we do not see that these undesirables are under the grip of the three modes of material nature. When a man's left eye, arm, and thigh all quiver constantly, one must know that something is going to happen which is undesirable. These undesirables are compared to fire in a forest. No one goes into the forest to set fires, but fires automatically take place in the forest, creating inconceivable calamities for the living beings of the forest. Such a fire cannot be extinguished by any human efforts. The fire can be extinguished only by the mercy of the Lord, who sends clouds to pour water on the forest. Similarly, undesirable happenings in life cannot be checked by any number of plans. Such miseries can be removed only by the mercy of the Lord, who sends his bona fide representatives to enlighten human beings and thus save them from all calamities. Hare Krishna. So, very nice purport as usual by Srila Prabhupada. There are quite a few points, but I thought I'll select a few points and talk a bit about that. So, the first one is that the undesirables are under the grip of the three modes of material nature. So these undesirables are another word for that is the miseries of the material world. And all of us, I'm sure, would have experienced it in some form or the other. We all have miseries of various kinds, just the packaging is different, but inside the content is the same, that we all in the material world undergo some suffering. And these are under the grip of the three gunas, sattva, rajasic, and tamasic. And then the other point that I wanted to go over in more detail was that these undesirables or these miseries are compared to fire in a forest. Right now, unfortunately, there is a lot of forest fire going on in the Los Angeles area, and many living beings, human beings, are being affected by that. So that's the literal fire, forest fire. But as Srila Prabhupada explains, and this forest fire is being compared to this material world. So even though right now we are not in amidst a physical fire, but the miseries of the material world are like the forest fire, which nobody can escape. And but then from the gloomy part, the part which gives us hope is the second part, that this fire can be extinguished, and it's not it's a forest fire. It's not a small fire, maybe in a small section or in a home or some which you can extinguish by just pouring a jug of water. This forest fire, it's huge, and uh, it requires a downpour from clouds, like heavy clouds. Only then the forest fire can be extinguished, not even by just one cloud pouring rain, but like a group, a huge, uh, you know, huge formation of clouds that can extinguish it, and that can happen only by the mercy of Bhagwan. And how does he do that? He does that by sending his representatives, which are gurus or acharyas, who enlighten human beings and thus save them from these calamities. So we'll go over a few verses from our Vedic literature, which also convey the same meaning, and then we'll see how we can understand this a little bit more. Understand or just have some discussion on these things. These are some of the very common things that we uh, undergo in the process, or we read in various whenever we are reading any book, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita, we see all these things. So I have picked up a few verses which also tell us about the same thing. So first thing is about the undesirables, which is material miseries under the grips of the modes of material nature. So there are three types of miseries in the material world, which are adhyatmic, adhibhautic, and adhidevik. Adhyatmic means it are those miseries are coming to us through our own body, our own mind. So, uh, yeah. Then adhibhautic are the ones which are inflicted by other living entities. Maybe another human being, maybe just another living entity, a mosquito who has bitten us, or there are various living entities who can give us a misery. And then finally, Adhidevik, like how the forest fire is going on in Los Angeles, and there was hurricane and there were earthquakes at many places. So those are the miseries which are due to natural disturbances. So these are the three types of miseries at a very broad level. Again, within that, we can have so many types of further subdivisions, but at a very high level, this is how our Shastras explain that these are the three types of miseries. And then the next verse that I wanted to go over was Bhagavad Gita 7.14, which also tells that all these miseries, they are extremely hard to overcome because those are coming through the agency of Bhagwan himself, which is Maya Devi. So I'm going to read that verse. Devi hi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. So the first line which says Devi hi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. So this divine energy of mind, which consists of these three modes, gunamayi, is very difficult to overcome. So we, the human beings, we, the living entities in the material world, we are um, we are under the grip of these gunas, and those are controlled by Lord's own energy, who is Maya Devi, and she is very Duratya. She is very difficult to overcome. But then Bhagwan also gives us a solution in the next line itself, that Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. That those who have surrendered unto me, that is to Lord Krishna, can easily cross beyond it. So it is kind of flowing with our purport for today, that this undesirables are like the forest fire, but that fire can be extinguished through the mercy of God. So like here in the second line, when Krishna says that those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. And we'll see like what is the meaning of surrender, and surrender to who. So first surrender to Guru, and then through Guru to Krishna. So that's the process to escape that also has been given to us by Bhagwan in our scriptures. uh, so Maya, or the modes of material nature, are extremely hard to overcome, and those are the reasons that we get the miseries. Those are the agents which provide us the miseries in this world, although those are created through our own actions in previous lifetimes. But then so Maya Devi ensures that all this goes on. The whole design of the universe, which has been done by Lord Krishna. So everybody gets their share of miseries depending on their karma and all that. And it is very hard to escape. You can escape any country's law enforcement, but you cannot escape the law enforcement done by Lord Krishna. But if you surrender to Bhagwan, then you can cross beyond it. And then another verse from Bhagavad Gita 8.15, which tells that this place, this material world, is Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. So by design, this place where we are in, the material world, is a Dukh Alayam, which is a place of misery. And again, Bhagavad Gita also tells that those the great souls who are yogis in devotion, so even the escape route has been given, like how you can go beyond it, how you can get out of this cycle of birth and death in the material world. But these verses tell us that by design, this place is Dukhalayam, and by design, the Maya is Duratyaya, that it is very, very hard to overcome. And that's how we are undergoing repeated miseries in this world when we are living here. Okay, so now we'll go to. So this is the verse that we sing every day in the morning in all ISKCON temples, and all the devotees who are practicing at home. This is the morning prayer that we all sing, Shri Guru Ashtakam prayers, which has the similar mood as we read in the purport today. So this samsara davanal, that's the main thing. This samsara, this material world, is like a davanal. It's the forest fire. Anal is fire, and davanal, forest fire. So this beautiful prayer that we sing every day is also conveying the same meaning, that we are all the living entities are in this forest fire, and then how by getting the mercy of Guru we can get out of it. So I'm gonna sing it and then we'll go over the translation. Samsara dhavanalani dhaloka tranaya karunya ghanatvam praptasya kalyana gunarnavasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. So the spiritual master is receiving benediction from the ocean of mercy. So that's the third part of the line of the verse. Praptasya Kalyana Gunar Navasya. So from the ocean of mercy, Guna Arnav, the spiritual master is receiving benediction. Praptasya Kalyana. And then just as a cloud pours water on a forest fire to extinguish it, so the spiritual master delivers the materially afflicted world by extinguishing the blazing fire of material existence. This is that first line. So Tranaya Karunya Ghana Ghanatvam. To deliver Tranaya out of extreme mercy, Karunya, the spiritual master becomes like the Ghana Ghanatvam, like a big group of clouds, and through that he does this, he extinguishes the samsara dhavanal. And then the last one is, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master who is an ocean of auspicious qualities. So Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. So this prayer is really just totally exactly conveying the same points as we have in the purport today, that um, that everybody is in the grip of material miseries, and it is compared to the forest fire, samsara davanal. And then when you and Guru is able to extinguish that forest fire through this ghana ghanatvam, through this cloud, by becoming the clouds. And Guru, how does he do that? Because he receives he himself receives benediction, praptasya kalyana, from the ocean of mercy, who is none other than Lord Krishna. So I have picked up a few more verses which convey similar points about either forest fire, and then what are the ways it can be extinguished, and what's the role of Guru, and so on. So another very beautiful prayer is from Shikshashtakam, where also we get reference to this forest fire, Mahadavagni. So the previous one had was Samsara Davanal, and here Maha Bhava is Samsar, and Mahadavagni, like a huge, big fire. Maha, big, and Davagni, like forest, Agni is fire. And this verse also tells us that this place is a big forest fire, and then how to get out of it. The solution given here is through Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So it's also related to the previous verse, because Guru, the previous verse said that Guru delivers us, but then how does Guru do that? Guru tells the disciple to do Harinam Sankirtan, and through that this forest fire can be extinguished. So they have similar meanings, and we'll go over that through few more verses shortly. So yeah, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Maybe I can sing it. Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhavamahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So right now, one of our one devotee, very dear devotee to many of us, Hari Parshad Prabhuji has been taking a full series on this Shikshashtakam, and he's taking us word by word into the meanings of the great depths of the meanings of all these words of this verse. So I think many of us are already part of that series, but if not, then it's a great resource where we can really dive deep into the meaning of Shikshashtakam. It's all also available on YouTube, and there are live classes going on as well. So thanks to him, a lot of concepts he really shows light and tells us, like how there was a 2-hour class on just Bhav Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. I'm just gonna take a tiny bit from there. So I'm going to read the translation right now. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. So I'm going to just focus on the words that we highlighted here. So Sri Krishna Sankirtan is able to extinguish the fire of this conditional life, which is nothing but this repeated birth and death, which means that we are stuck in this material world, coming back again and again, undergoing all the miseries. So, birth, disease, old age, and death, like we are going through these miseries again and again. And the way to get out is by only Sri Krishna Sankirtan can help us. And again, there are a couple more verses that I picked up. There are so many on the mercy of Gurudev that we can pick up from Vedic scriptures, but I just picked up this and one more. So Guru Vandana by Narottam Das Thakur also tells a similar mood, where he is praising the lotus feet of the spiritual master, because those can help one cross the ocean of material suffering. So Shri Guru Charana Padma, and then the next word is E Bhava Toriya Jai. So through the mercy of the spiritual master, you can cross over this bhava. Bhava is the ocean of material suffering. So again, the idea is that this material world is full of suffering. That it doesn't mean to say that we are constantly suffering. Like right now, we might be in some little bit of experiencing some happiness. It's not that we are always totally doomed for, but then we can see that in the overall pattern that we see in our own life and in the lives of people around us, that this place is a place of suffering. It is indeed a dukkhalayam. So maybe I can sing this verse. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Mandamoi Savadhana Mate Yahara Prasade Bhai E Bhava Turiya Jai Krishna Prapti Hoya Hoite. So beautiful prayer, which we all in the temples it's sung every day. So it's part of Guru Vandana, and Narottam Das Thakur is mentioning that by taking the by surrendering to the lotus feet of spiritual masters, so through the mercy of Guru, we can cross over this ocean of material suffering. And then our first prayer in the Mangalacharan, that is also glorifying Gurudev, where Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So that I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So the Guru is able to open our eyes, and then that helps us to basically cross over this ocean of material suffering. So there can be so many more verses, but I'll move on to the next idea, thought process here. So we have seen through various examples that how the Guru can help us cross the ocean of material suffering. But then how does Guru do that? Does the Guru come with a fire hose and extinguish that fire? It's not that. What Guru does is that he gives us the seed of bhakti, and then bhakti does the magic. Uh, so what Guru does, because Guru is a representative sent by Lord Krishna. So Guru gives the bhakti in his heart. So the bhakti jump from the heart of the Guru to the heart of the disciple. So that giving the seed of bhakti is the main thing that happens there. And then when bhakti enters somebody's heart, then a lot of magic starts happening, because bhakti has those potencies, which we will see in the next slide. But this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita from Madhya Lila 19.151 tells us that, gives us the proof, like how the seed of bhakti is given from the Guru to the disciple, and who receives it. So Brahmanda Bhramite Kauna Bhagyavana Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Beej. So a lot of living entities are roaming around in the universe, Brahmanda Bhramite. But Kauna Bhagyavan Jeev, the Bhagyavan means the one who has good fortune. So some Bhagyavan, some fortunate Jiva ends up getting the prasad, the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai. And what is that mercy that that person receives? Is that he receives the bija, the seed of Bhakti Lata. So he gets the seed of Bhakti in his heart through as a mercy of Guru and Krishna. And then once that happens, then the next things start happening. But otherwise, only a fortunate person gets that. It's who receives this mercy from Guru and Krishna, and then he's able to basically, even though he's living in that forest fire, he's not affected by it anymore. So Guru gives the seed of bhakti, and then bhakti does the magic, because bhakti has these properties as mentioned by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.1.17. So he has mentioned 6 qualities of bhakti, and the first one is Kleshagni. So there itself we get the idea that once you get the bhakti, by its uh, property, bhakti destroys the suffering, and then it also gives auspiciousness and so on. But this is the idea that I wanted to bring us to, that Guru helps extinguish the forest fire of material suffering by giving us bhakti in our heart, and bhakti does the kleshagni. It destroys the suffering. And there's a very nice detailed discussion in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu about various kinds of how the um, sinful actions happen, what is prarabdha karma, what is aprarabdha karma, and so on. I'm not going to go into the details of that, but those are how we end up getting suffering through our various prarabdha and aprarabdha karmas, and how bhakti has the ability to destroy all that. And also when we receive diksha from our gurus, diksha at the time of diksha also all our sins are eradicated. So bhakti has that potency. So I'm gonna maybe go over this verse. Kleshagni shubhada moksha laghuta krit sudurlabha sandrananda visheshatma Shri Krishna karshini chasa. So apart from this thing Kleshagni, which is our topic for today, the other properties that bhakti has are it shubhada, that it bestows auspiciousness, and then moksha laghuta krit, it makes the desire for moksha also very small. So it's disregard for liberation. And then fourth is sudurlabha. It's rarity. It's very rare to attain. So to complete the whole line, the whole process of bhakti and get out at the from the final line, that part is very durlabh. It's easy to get in, but actually getting out, completing the whole thing it's very rare. Then Sandranand Visheshatma. It's manifested of concentrated bliss. And then finally, Sri Krishna Akarshini Chasa. It has the ability to attract Krishna. Akarshan is attract, and so she through bhakti we are able to attract the Supreme Lord Krishna himself. So these are the various properties of bhakti. Uh, and then a little bit more from Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, where Sri Rupa Goswami mentions 64 limbs of for sadhakas for practicing bhakti. So he also mentions that there are like unlimited, there are lots and lots mentioned in Hari Bhakti Vilas, but he has picked up top 64 out of that. And even in those top 64 limbs, the first three limbs, which are he has mentioned, are very important, and those are related to uh, Guru. So the first one is Guru Padashraya, taking the shelter of Guru. Then Tasmat Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam. So you first take shelter of the Guru, first limb, and then take Diksha and Shiksha from that Guru. And then Vishrambhena Guru Seva. So you serve the Guru with dedication. So these are all related to the uh, to a person and the Guru. So once we are on the path of bhakti, these three limbs are extremely important: to surrender to a Guru, to take shelter, to take Diksha and Shiksha, and then serve the Guru with all your heart. And he even mentions that Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in just few verses after that, uh, that these first three are like the are very pradhan, they are very important. So there is a categorization within the 64. So there are first 20, which are like the doorway for entering bhakti. And out of those 20, the first three, which are related to the Guru, are pradhan. Those are very important. So Srila Rupa Goswami mentions the importance of taking the shelter of a Guru. And then at the so the first from out of the 64, the last five are also he mentions that those are the top five out of even the 64. Those are the top five limbs of bhakti. And the same idea is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 22.128 to 129. So this verse says, Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtan Bhagavata Shravana Mathura Va Shri Murtira Shraddhaya Sevana Sakala Sadhana Shrishta Ei Pancha Anga Krishna Prema Janma Ei Pancheralpa Sangha. So, out of all the limbs of bhakti, of all angas of bhakti, these are the top five. Sakala Sadhana Shrestha. Shrestha means the best. Out of all sadhan bhakti options, the Shresth, the most important ones are A Pancha Anga. Pancha is five. So these five angas are the Shrestha ones, the important ones, the most important ones. And what are those? Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravan, Mathura Vas, and Sri Murtira Shraddhaya Sevana. And if we see that Guru tells us to do all these things. So the way Guru extinguishes the forest fire is that he or she teaches us to practice these limbs of bhakti and tries to um, bring our focus to these top five limbs uh, so that we can practice one ek anga or anek anga. But whatever we do with sincerity, with full heart, and then we get the benefit. So the role of guru is that he or she teaches us by through the various scriptures and inspires us. It's not just like you sit in a lecture and something goes in from one ear and gets out of the other. Not like that. The guru really inspires us through his personal behavior also, not just the words that are coming out of his mouth, but when you see that person's behavior, it when that also reflects when the person walks his talk, that melts one's heart and you want to follow it with sincerity. So once we follow it with sincerity, then the magic starts happening. We the bhakti is received in the heart, and the bhakti lata beach starts fructifying. It starts becoming bigger, and through naturally the kleshas, the suffering goes away, and then we progress further on the path of bhakti. And finally, when we uh, come to the finish line, although it is so durlabha, but once we come to the finish line, we are able to. That's when we get the prema bhakti, and that we are totally out of the suffering. Whether we reach the spiritual world or whether Krishna keeps us in the material world itself, it doesn't matter. Wherever we are, even in the middle of the fire, we are not suffering. So suffering is not exactly equal to the physical things that are going on in our life. We could be in the middle of the fire or in the middle of the most difficult situation, but we may not be suffering. And the example in our Shastra is the example of various associates of Bhagwan Krishna. So Canto 10 of Srimad Bhagavatam is full of such characters, like example the highest one being gopis, but you know um, all the other characters, they it looks as if they are suffering, because we think that if that something like that happens in our life, we'll be suffering. And when we see the examples of Pandavas, who are such close associates of Bhagwan Krishna, we see that they are, oh my God, all these things are happening. They must be really suffering. But uh, our scriptures also tell us that the close associates of Lord are not suffering at all. So it may look like that they're in the middle of the forest fire, but the heat is not touching them. So ultimately, it's not just where you are, but whether you are suffering or not. So suffering goes away once you totally surrender to Bhagwan, because he takes care of the devotees after that. Okay. Um, all right. So then, one of the top five limbs of bhakti was Bhagavat Shravana, and I thought to speak a little bit more on that, because like we sadhakas, when we are many of us here are trying to progress on the path of bhakti, trying to do some sadhan bhakti. So our through the help of our previous acharyas, we now know that um, we have been reading through our shastras, through Nectar of Devotion, the summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and directly from the verses of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and all those scriptures like Chaitanya Charitamrita. So much nectar is sprinkled all throughout and giving us practical tips as to how we can practice bhakti and get out of the suffering. And the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, like all our bhakti scriptures are telling us, to do the bhakti, and then also telling us practically how to do bhakti. So, like here, Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtan, Bhagavad Shravan. So, and Mathura Vas and Murtira, Sri Murtira Shraddhaya Sevana. So, we can try to, do one or more of these, or maybe some other limb of bhakti which calls out for us, and try to, through that, elevate ourselves in the path of bhakti. So for me, I thought, this Bhagavad Shravan is also very, very important, because through the Bhagavad Shravan, through hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we and I will also include here, like, Chaitanya Charitamrita or Bhagavad Shravan, like even Bhagavad Gita here. So when we read these scriptures, the bhakti scriptures, yeah, I should say bhakti scriptures. When we read the bhakti scriptures, that those doing that gives us a conviction, and also it gives, firstly, it opens our eyes that these are the things that we should be doing. So bhakti scriptures first show the path, and then they, as we read them, they further and further increase our conviction in that path, so that we don't get deviated from that by just talking to someone. Our faith is not shaken. So to remain in that process, even to know the glories of Nam Sankirtan, one thing is that the guru can tell us, or we may just come to know that, yeah, Nam Kirtan is very important. But then when we do Bhagavad Shravan and we read so many verses which glorify Nam Kirtan, that gives us, it's like uh, more, I don't know, whatever. So it basically gives us more shields, you can say, so that you don't, your bhakti lata does not get affected by any untoward incidents, or through some other people who are envious, or not in the path of bhakti. So all those things are not able to affect us if we have read bhakti scriptures and we know the glories of Nam Sankirtan, or we know the glories of Sadhu Sangha. So Bhagavad Shravan is something that is very much in our access. Like, for example, to do Sadhu Sangha, you first need to find a sadhu. It's something external that you need to go and find. Nam Kirtan is definitely something that we can do wherever we are. Even if a person is locked up, if the person is in a cave and has no access to anything, even then Nam Kirtan he can do. He can sing the names of Bhagwan. Um, but Bhagavad Shravan tells us the importance of doing all that, even the importance of staying in Mathura, and the importance of deity worship. So for many sadhakas, Bhagavad Shravan becomes like the first thing, which it's like a invisible thread going all over. So through that we get the conviction. So I picked up a couple verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, which are in this similar thought process. So this one is um, this one tells us that Srimad Bhagavatam is the Puran Arko Adhunodita. So this verse is a reply um, to the question, like, asked by sages, that now that Lord Krishna has departed, uh, what will happen? How will the people of Kali Yuga get any knowledge or get relief from this darkness of Kali Yuga? So maybe I'll read the verse. कृष्णे स्वधाम उपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह कलौ नष्टदृशामेषा पुराणार्को अधुनोदितः. So this Bhagavad Puran is as brilliant as the sun. Puran Arko. Arko is the sun, and Puran is the Bhagavad Puran. and it has arisen adhunodita just after the departure of Lord Krishna. So when Krishna Swadham Upagate. So at the end of Dwapar Yuga, Lord Krishna departed um, and went back to his abode. So he disappeared from earth, and that was the beginning of Kali Yuga. Once Krishna Swadham Upagate, once Krishna departed to his own abode. And when Krishna left, Dharma and Gyan also left along with him. So Dharma Gyanadi bhi saha. So everything is gone. And then so Kali Yuga has started, and in Kali Yuga, everybody has lost their vision, their drisha, their eyesight is nashta, it's gone. But in that hopeless situation, the only hope is that now Bhagavad Puran has arisen like a brilliant sun, which can give us light. So there are other verses which also tell us that Bhagavad Puran is just a literary incarnation of Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna can incarnate in various forms. So why not in the form of a book? So he incarnates in the form of a book in Kali Yuga. So he has taken so many forms in the past, so many fantastical forms. You can't even imagine. Like he has come in the form of a fish, of a tortoise, Varahadev, like a boar, and the most uh, unimaginable form was the Narasimha form, half man and half lion. I mean, you can find a fish, but you cannot find this example anywhere else, half man and half lion. And those are just some of the examples which are given in Bhagavad Puran mentioned, but Bhagavad Puran also mentions that there are unlimited incarnations of Bhagwan. So Srimad Bhagavatam is also mentioned there. So Bhagwan can incarnate in the form of a book also. So that this book will give us light and help us get rid of the miseries of the material world. And Kali Yuga is full of that. Kali Yuga is a ocean of miseries. I think I have put that verse here. Yeah. So Kaler dosha nidhe rajan. So this verse, this is coming in the last canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that this Kali Yuga is a nid, nidhi is ocean and dosh means false. So this Kali Yuga where we are living right now is a ocean of faults. But the only good thing is that just by doing kirtan of Krishna, kirtanadeva Krishnasya, we can get relief. Mukta Sangha Param Rajet. Uh, we can get mukti, like we can be relieved of this material bondage, and we can go to Param Rajet. We can go to the transcendental kingdom, to the highest abode. Basically, we go back to Krishna just by doing this kirtan. So there are other verses in this right after this which tells that in different ages the processes of uh, going back to Bhagwan was different, and those seemed much harder to perform. So in Satyuga, a lot of meditation for thousands and thousands of years. That was the process. Then the next yuga, Treta Yuga, various havans, various yagyas. That was the process. And then in Dwapar Yuga, elaborate deity worship was the process. But now in Kali Yuga, the discount has been given that since it is already such a horrible place to live in, the process has been really, we have got a very big discount from Bhagwan by design, that just by doing kirtan, we can receive the same benefits as of doing meditation and so on, fire sacrifice and deity worship. So, so Bhagavatam tells us this. So somebody who wants to practice the limb of Nam Sankirtan gets a lot of hope and lot of conviction by reading this verse. And similarly, whatever limb that you are attracted towards, uh, you know, uh, and it's a valid limb of bhakti. You cannot say that, oh, I'll just sleep all day and that's my way of practicing bhakti. You cannot find any support from the scriptures for doing that. But you can definitely find support, if you are attracted to serve Bhagwan through some way, whatever your heart calls out for. Once we read the Vedic, the Bhakti scriptures, we can get conviction from those that, yeah, this is a path of bhakti that I can follow. And our acharyas have mentioned that that's a valid process. So through this, so somebody who is drawn towards Nam Sankirtan uh, can get lot of power through this verse, that just by doing kirtan you can get the ultimate benefit and you can get the highest destination. So yeah, I think that's uh, I mean there could be other verses as well which can talk about um, doing deity worship. So if we are drawn towards deity worship, our bhakti scriptures will tell us. They tell us, all the glories of doing that and then how to do that. Similarly, for Nam Sankirtan, if we are drawn towards that, we can find, if we want to dive deep. So first thing is to identify what we want to do. This life is too short. Find the path. How whichever path you are drawn towards, whichever uh, path you want to follow or the way you want to do perform bhakti, uh, identify that and nurture that, and read Bhagavatam, read the bhakti scriptures, because they provide you with a lot of details about how to practice bhakti, and they also nurture you and give you lots and lots of conviction, and so that we are not we don't deviate from that, and then we also actually make a lot of progress towards Bhagwan Krishna. And also, like I mentioned in another class last Sunday, that we can uh, we can practice just one limb of bhakti or multiple limbs of bhakti. It's not that we have to practice um, all the limbs, even though those are mentioned as the top five. It's not necessary that we have to practice all five of them. We can pick up whichever limb of bhakti we are attracted towards and go into the depth of that, and we can achieve perfection through that as well. There is a verse which mentions various people who perfected just that one limb of bhakti and attained perfection through that. And also there are examples of people who did multiple limbs of bhakti, and but the ultimate thing is that do bhakti, read the bhakti scriptures, and find a guru. So the scripture will definitely tell us, like how we read today, Guru Padashray is the first limb. So find a guru. So these are like, when you have a guru, he will tell you to do bhakti. And when you do bhakti, you read bhakti scriptures, and those tell us again that, find a guru, surrender to a guru. And then ultimately through that, even though we might be living in the hardest possible situation of life, we can still be at peace. The forest fire cannot give us suffering. We could be in the middle of the forest fire, but we could still be the happiest person possible on earth. So, yeah, with that, I'll stop here. It's 8:54. Thank you so much for being here. And if I made any mistakes, please forgive me. Please correct me. And if there are any questions or anybody wants to share what ideas they might want to share with others, please do so. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Nice to hear from you again after a long time. Thank you for speaking on the glories of bhakti and its ability to diminish and alleviate suffering. Any questions, comments like Mataji asked? Appreciation is also nice. Thank you. Mataji ended earlier, so you can ask questions or reflections.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, thank you. I appreciate this discussion, this class, and points you brought up. Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Namaste Pranam. Very wonderful class, Mataji. I really like the the glorification of Guru. He covers so many points, like so many analogies to how our material suffering is related to the forest fire from several verses. You connected that the only way. the cure for all of this is, through the process of devotional service. And the first step is to surrender to a guru, and how progressively, as we grow in our devotional service, under the shelter of a guru, all these sufferings go away, and what is the highest priority. So, very nice lecture, Madhavi. I really like it. It covered several points beautifully. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. All right, thank you, everybody. Maybe we can close 4 minutes early today. It's 8:56.
Thank you, Mataji. Manchakalpatarvyacha Kiprosannabhyacha Titanam Pavnabhya Vaishnavya Namo Namah. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much.